Hey, today I will talk about the X2D, and this is my late night thoughts on sharing my opinions as a GFX user. How do I feel about the X2D itself? So the X2D is Hasselblad's latest camera, 100 megapixel, IBIS, new processor, faster, quicker, face detection AF, and probably it will have a decent AF considering that it can utilize the algorithms that they have in DJI for subject detection too. So I think there's a lot going for the X2D, and the biggest difference of the X2D with, like, say, the GFX series is the inbuilt storage of 1 terabyte. That is awesome because the cost of 1 terabyte of storage is not cheap, especially if you want something fast like CF Express or the fastest SD card. So it's always nice to have nice and big internal fast storages in the X2D itself. And not only that, the X2D Hasselblad itself, the biggest advantage is, of course, using leaf shutter lenses. And leaf shutter has certain advantages, especially when it comes to flash photography. In fact, the latest 90mm can go up to 1/4000 flash sync. I believe that cannot be achieved through wireless, but you probably can achieve it through wired flashes. And I think that's a big deal. If you do not know why it's a big deal about it, take a look at my, I think this site, 907X review. Take a look at the review. I'll talk a little bit on leaf shutter there. There are a lot of advantages of leaf shutter, and if you are an avid flash user and you want to use flash outdoors, especially in bright sunlight, the X2D is the camera for you because you can use a speedlight to overpower the sun. Versus on a GFX, because of its slow flash sync and then you need to use high speed sync, you will probably need to go up to maybe a 600 watt light to have the same ability. And not only that, high speed sync doesn't freeze action like flashes, so that's something to also consider. But that said, as a GFX user, will I change? What's the difference? What's the upside of the GFX system? Now, firstly, I'll say the biggest upside is the tilt viewfinder for me. The GFX100 tilt viewfinder, I think, is a big deal. And also in the same ballpark, or should I say same area, is the portrait flip on the GFX100 and 100S. Now, the GFX100S do not have the nice tilt viewfinder, but I use it a lot, so I think it's very important. But the portrait flip on the LCD is also really important for a portrait photographer, especially if you shoot low down. So that's something to consider. And the next thing to consider is also the price of the lenses. The Hasselblad lenses are really, really costly. Of course, everything is relative. If you need leaf shutter, I think it is affordable for good leaf shutter lenses. But consider the GFX lenses in the market, it is about 3 times the price of a GFX lens. Even the older Hasselblad lenses are more costly than the GFX lenses of equivalent, I would say, as capabilities, easily by twice the price. So yes, the body of the X2D isn't that bad. I mean, it sits between the GFX100 and 100S, but the lenses will cost a lot. And buying such a system, well, in the GFX side, you can buy 3-4 lenses for 1 lens and 1 body. And you can buy a GFX100 lens with maybe 3 lenses itself. So that's a huge difference. But price isn't the only consideration, other than the tilt and stuff. Of course, there's other ergonomics and stuff, but I think those are more preference driven. The one last thing that we must not forget is that the GFX100 is already much older today. I believe it's 3 years old already, if I'm not wrong. As such, it's I'll say a successor will probably be coming soon. Now, you'll be wondering, why do I feel that there is a successor, right? I don't have insider news, by the way. But the fact is that Sony has a 150 megapixel 44x33 sensor. Has been announced long ago, and there are users of it. No doubt, the next GFX will not be a GFX100. It will be a GFX150. Very high chance. 50 megapixel more is a 50% gain in megapixels. Not a big deal compared to 50 jumping to 100. But not only does it give you more megapixels, and it will be a newer, better sensor, which will probably convert to maybe 1/3 to 2/3, or maybe even 1 stop of dynamic range difference, which is the biggest difference when it comes to medium format, the dynamic range. it is so important for that. You know, when you shoot in high dynamic range situation, you can just recover like crazy. And I can imagine that the 150 megapixel sensor will be even better, maybe 1/3 to 2/3 stops better than the GFX100 itself. So that's a big deal. And next is also, of course, the newest processor in the XH2S will probably come onto the GFX. Hopefully they can overclock it or make it slightly better. But regardless, it will be a much faster camera, and it will probably have some of the features of the XH2S too. So, considering everything in this space, should you jump ship if you're a GFX user? Probably not. I think it's more safer to wait for the next generation of GFX, unless you really is into flash photography, especially for outdoor, and you want to crush lighting with leaf shutter itself. And if you're a new medium format user, however, if you're a new medium format user, I think the X2D is quite a good consideration. Even though I'm a GFX user, I think there are so much perks in the new X2D, and the price is not too bad. Yes, the lens is a little bit expensive, but if you can appreciate the leaf shutter itself, I think it's a good deal. GFX users, why I say it's not as good deal, because you have to sell everything away, and that will incur you a lot of loss. So that's something that I thought about. As a GFX user, I think the X2D brings great news for the medium format scene. Even though people may see it as a competitor, and then there may be some brand loyalty and what's not, I'll say as it's good that such competition exists. Then will Fujifilm or any manufacturer push ahead? Now with the X2D, I won't be surprised that Fujifilm will speed up the next generation of GFX camera, and then we will have something even greater, something even better than today. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoy my short little late night thoughts, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.